Today we're digging into Stoicism, a philosophy that was literally born from a disaster, but it gives us a timeless toolkit for getting through the chaos of our own modern world. So let's just dive right in with a thought experiment. Imagine everything you've worked for, your entire fortune, just gone in an instant. How would you react? I mean, you'd probably be angry, right? Or just totally devastated. And look, for most of us, that would be a completely normal reaction.
Well, what's so wild is that this isn't just some hypothetical question. It's exactly what happened to a guy named Zeno way back around 300 BC. And his reaction, well, it pretty much changed the course of history.
I mean, think about that. He's faced with complete and utter ruin, his entire livelihood gone. But instead of seeing it as an end, he saw it as a new beginning. Instead of despairing over what he lost, he decided to focus on the one thing he still had, his own mind. It's just an incredible reminder that simply reframing your perspective can change literally everything.
Okay, so this shipwreck launches a whole new way of thinking. What was the big idea? What was so revolutionary? Well, it really all boils down to one incredibly powerful concept.
What the Stoics taught, and this is so important, is that while we can't control what happens to us, we have absolute control over how we respond to it. And they argued that real happiness, genuine tranquility, it comes from putting our energy only where it counts, on the things that are actually up to us. And this split is everything. Think about trying to get a promotion at work. You can't control your boss's final decision, right? But you can control the quality of your work and how you present yourself. Or look at social media. You can't control the algorithm, no way, but you can control what you create and the effort you put in. This simple idea forces us to ask that crucial question: where am I spending my energy?
And this quote from Epictetus just nails it. Now, what's incredible about him is that he lived this philosophy under the most extreme circumstances you can imagine, proving that the power of this idea has nothing to do with your bank account or your job title.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually do this? How do we use it in our modern, chaotic lives? Well, the Stoics basically developed a mental toolkit, a set of exercises to train for life's inevitable challenges.
Think about it like this. None of us gets all bent out of shape when it starts to rain, right? I mean, it might mess up our plans, but we expect it. We know rain happens. The Stoics said, why not apply that same logic to, well, everything else? If we expect things to go wrong sometimes, they lose their power to shock us and throw us off balance.
So one really practical way to train this mental muscle is an exercise called voluntary discomfort. Maybe you try taking a cold shower instead of a hot one, or just eat a really simple meal for a day. Look, the point isn't to make yourself miserable. It's to prove to yourself that you can handle a little hardship. And it has the side effect of making you way more grateful for the comforts you normally have.
And all of this is guided by 4 main virtues, which kind of acts like a moral compass for all your actions, the stuff you can control. It all starts with wisdom, which is just knowing the difference between what you can and can't control. Then you need courage to face life's challenges, temperance to practice moderation, and finally, justice, which is all about remembering our duty to do good for each other. What's really important to get is that this was never meant to be some kind of elitist philosophy, locked away in an ivory tower. Nope. The Stoics taught right out in public, on the streets, because they believed these principles could help absolutely anyone. Just think about that for a second. A man who was literally considered property, who didn't even own his own body, he became this incredible teacher of ultimate freedom, the freedom of your own mind. He was the living embodiment of the idea that your external world doesn't have to define your internal one.
Then you have the complete opposite end of the spectrum. You've got Seneca, one of the richest, most powerful guys in all of Rome, and he used these same ideas to navigate the pressures of power, wealth, and politics.
So you've got a slave, a statesman, and an emperor. And what this shows us is a core Stoic belief. It doesn't matter who you are. The fundamental challenges of being human are universal. And, they argued, so is the solution.
They were so ahead of their time, they even invented the word cosmopolitan, which means citizen of the world. They were actively pushing for unity and seeing all people as part of one community, a really radical idea back then. And they didn't stop there.
They also broke with all the conventions of the time by arguing that women should study philosophy too. They truly believed that the path to a good life was open to every single person, no matter their gender or social status.
Okay, but let's be real. This is all ancient history. Does any of this stuff still matter today, thousands of years later? Well, the evidence is pretty overwhelming.
Take this number, 27. 27 years. That's how long Nelson Mandela was locked away in prison. And during that absolutely unimaginable time, you know what gave him strength? The writings of a Stoic emperor, Marcus Aurelius.
And when he was finally released, he was the perfect embodiment of Stoic principles. He focused on what he could control, building the future of his nation, instead of dwelling on what he couldn't, the injustices of the past. He chose rebuilding over revenge. And this legacy is alive and well today, right in the foundations of modern psychology. I mean, therapies like REBT, that's all about challenging your irrational thoughts with logic. That's pure Stoicism. And logotherapy is built on the Stoic idea that our main drive as humans is the search for purpose and meaning, even when things are tough.
So at the end of the day, what Stoicism really is a way to rewire your brain. It's about learning how to navigate the storms of life by focusing your attention not on the wind and the waves you can't control, but on your own two hands on the wheel.
And that's really the question we'll leave you with. It's the central question of Stoicism, and it's one it asks us to answer not just once, but every single day of our lives.